I've been really contemplating discussing title versus leader because I really don't have a good solution, but I wanted to get this out there because I feel this is really important. A person does not have to have a title to be a good leader. And a person with a title doesn't mean that they're automatically a good leader. Simon Sinek talks about this in a couple of videos, and I'll put some links in the description, but I want to illustrate how this is amplified in the government. There are no 30 or under CEOs in the government like there are in the private sector, and there are two reasons. The first reason is time and grade, and the second reason is time and service. If you look at any job description for the government, it says something like you must have at least 1 year of experience equal to or equivalent to the next lower grade. Therefore, in the government, title is appointed by time, and leader is earned by actions. In other words, it's the Peter principle. People in a hierarchy tend to be promoted to their level of incompetence. And that's what happens in the government. So what can be done in the government about titles versus leaders? Okay. So I have three recommendations. The first recommendation is don't use terms like senior leadership when describing meetings or decisions, when really it's senior management via titles. How does that make the rest of the organization look or feel when you say things like senior leadership and you have people below you who are really doing the leading? So don't use terms like senior leadership. Call it senior management. Senior management made a decision. Senior management thinks this. Don't say senior leadership unless, of course, you do have a group of leaders, your top leaders, that are leading, and they're the ones making decisions. Then call it senior leadership. 2, if you're a good leader, lead. Remember, in a government, an employee cannot be fired, so lead. If senior management is threatened by your leadership because they're not good leaders, just remember what Josh Gordon-Levitt said in his TED Talk. Other creative people are not your competitors, they're your collaborators. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But eventually the horse will be thirsty enough that it'll want to drink. So keep on leading, just keep on going forward, but be prepared for the risk of retaliation by senior management if they choose to do so. But that is the definition of a leader, is you're taking the risks. So your people don't have to. 3, change the government HR practices. Now this is going to be really difficult, and I know this is going to be tough, but I'm just going to throw this out there anyway, okay, because it has to happen. Changing the HR practices cannot come from within the government. This has to come from an outside organization. So really you need to hire someone to come in and look at the government's HR practices and change them. Currently, there's no mechanisms for promoting the people that really show leadership, because you have to have timing, service, and time and grade. Now, there are a couple things you can do to trick it, like you can alter the job description to meet that person's level. That's one thing you can do. But really, at a minimum, what I would recommend is have something like a special circumstances for those that show leadership. Sort of like the Army has battlefield promotions, that's kind of what you need in the government. You need to be able to bypass all of the rules and regulations and say, boom, you're showing leadership, you're showing a good job, boom, you're going to get promoted, you're going to meet the qualifications, you're going to get this job. But right now that doesn't exist, so hopefully we can make that happen. So I wanted to throw that out there. I know it's impossible. So anyway, thank you very much. That was title versus leader.